So welcome back to part 2 of the games of my first Eternal draft. We're currently 3-1. Time to search for another opponent. The last loss was pretty unfortunate. Flooded out a bit there. Got blown out a few times. Happens. I mean, mostly our hand was pretty slow from the beginning. Together with what our opponent did, especially him being more efficient with his power in the early game, put us too far in the back foot. I mean, that's exactly what you don't want with an aggro deck, but sometimes it happens. It's taken a little bit to find our next opponent. Oh, finally got one. Was about to pause till we found one. It's, if I'm not mistaken, the same guy as the Combre guy earlier. His hand is decent, not great, but decent. Turn 1 Oni Ronin with backup is always good. But yeah, Pandroid I think was the Combre guy. Let's see if he's playing another deck. It's definitely not Combre anymore. But I think Pandroid was the Combre guy we beat earlier. That's like the worst that could happen to this hand. That's pretty good to make up for it though. A 3-2 Oni Ronin is a pretty good 2 power play. Now we can simply Venom Fang dagger him, so we don't even need to use this. And if he cracks back, we can just execute the guy to not get annoyed too much by the lifesteal. Just hope he doesn't have another removal. That's fine. I think I'm actually inclined to rather do this than use Rapid Shot here. Just a nice tempo swing, I think. Now we get to execute this guy next turn. Get a sweet 2-for-1. Crack back for 6. What else could you want? So if he doesn't find the removal quickly, he is in pretty bad shape and our War Cries are piling up. And yeah, this card will definitely reward us for having held back Rapid Shot, because Combust wouldn't have worked on that one. So sweet payoff for using what we chose to use. Okay, that should seal the deal. Definitely gonna go for it. Use it on this in case of Torch, even though he probably would have used that pre-combat. Nice. That was a pretty quick win after a long drawn out loss at the end of the last video. So 4-1. Next opponent. Triple gold chest already. So we already got our money's worth. Like 1600 gold and 3 pack and like 7 packs for 1500 gold is a pretty good deal. Even though we passed on 2 legendaries. Of course I have to get the double bad legendary draft when I record my first draft. But I mean, if we go 7-1 or 7-2 here, I'm not gonna lose sleep over it anyway. That's the other thing you have to keep in mind, like How much you're giving up for picking that legendary that's not gonna make your deck any better. You might just get more value out of making your deck better and finishing better in the draft anyways. This is a terrible hand that we mulliganed into, but that's how it goes in Eternal. You get one redraw. If it sucks, it sucks. But at least you're not down a card like in Magic, so that's the upside, but there's still a trade-off. Nothing's free in life, not even the seemingly free mulligan. Not gonna suffocate here, too much tempo loss, and we should be able to suffocate him next turn still. 3-colored, greedy people. Or we won't. That's unfortunate. Let's hope we get to obliterate it before it grows out of hand. At least we got the second red, so all we need is one power of whatever faction. At least we have the rapid shots, which should help contain this guy in combat. Sorry. Had to close Facebook. That's fine. Smash my face. I mean, we're still doing fine in the race now that we have a Xenon Destroyer. With double rapid shot, we should be okay. And he clearly doesn't do much. I mean, I'm not sure why he didn't put another ornamental dagger on it earlier. But that's his choice. Yep. Let's see who he's gonna block. It's not lethal yet. He blocks the guy that we wanna use our combat trick on. Perfect. I think I would have considered blocking the stranger here, just because you can eat this guy anytime anyway, because it has to attack. And if I have a trick, you rather have me use it on this guy, so I don't get the extra life. So, yep, using rapid shot here, not worth it. That's perfect, because now we can attack with everything with impunity. Yep. Eat the guy, eat his weapon, and now this game is basically over. The power of tempo. And the cost of triple faction. Yep. We basically just need to draw one power and then we can't lose. Nope. There you go. Ship it. I mean, he can go to 1 here, but I mean, I guess I should have shot this one to make sure he dies, but oh well. Slight oversight on my part, but in the end we have 4 units and he goes to 1. But yeah, it was sloppy. If I shoot the 1-1, he goes to 3 and is dead because he has no power left for fast spells. So that would have been a correct play. Was just a tad too excited to draw the power and get to shoot the big guy. Next top deck, off curve. Although a lot worse if our opponent actually has a 1-drop, which doesn't happen that often. And even more so if he silences it. But at least he can attack. And he has to either take 2 or trade his arguably better unit. So yeah, I think this is the play. Because we rather trade this guy first in this, because we want the armor. Which also makes this a better target for the Iron Sword, forcing the opponent to block. Nice. That was greedy, should have waited with that until after the attack, because he can ambush us now. I mean, if that's what he ambushes us with, it doesn't really matter, but you never know. I was just too excited about having drawn this guy to kill his flyer for free, which definitely was sweet. I think this is probably a better play. Like, the alternative would be attack, rapid shot and play this, but I think it's better to develop this guy and pump him next turn. Get one monster of an attacker. I mean, we still can double block this guy. And he is almost out of cards. Yep, now he's out of cards. Enjoy your 7s and 8s power with 0 hand cards. Not the most impressive. And we even get to execute his flyer to wrap the game. Good stuff. Yep. Get rid of this guy. There's an argument to be made to just leave this guy at home, keep attacking for 5, and keep the rapid shot in case he draws something bigger. I think it's probably better to distribute our power by this point, to not get blown out by like another silence or something. Or like bounce on this guy, Praxis Displacer. Nice. And another win. So one more, and we're almost Masters League as well. That's nice. So maybe we get lucky and get another win and get 10 out of the win, then we'll finally Masters League. I've been here like 2 drafts ago or something, and then lost a couple times and had 1 or 2 bad drafts where I rare drafted too much and or ended up in bad faction combinations and dropped all the way down to mid-diamond. But yeah, 6-1 is a pretty good result, especially given that the 1 loss was due to bad draws. I don't think we can keep this, especially on the draw, making our Blood Beetle even worse. This is not great, but it's a bit better. At least we have both influences. So we can play a decent 2-drop, and we still have a bunch of 1-drops that we can draw into. And a million 3-drops, so at least this hand should usually be able to go 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop, 5-drop. Which is pretty good actually, and limited, if you can curve out like this. It's worse, given that we are on the draw, but still pretty good. There's the 3-drop that I was asking for. And we even get a weapon to make it 5/5 quick draw. Or 5/3 quick draw, we'll see. Couple of options here. Might have to get rid of that Bright Maze Paladin first though. he's thinking about. But yeah, our deck had enough threes to make it likely that this hand is gonna curve out smoothly, except for missing the 1-drop, which a lot of draft decks won't even have, so it's not the biggest loss. As long as we don't draw a million of those later on. Ooh, that is awkward. Now we can't even kill it. Execute, please. I mean, even rapid shot would be fine. Okay then, let's hope our double block goes through. Otherwise we're in big trouble. That's okay. I think we need to get rid of this flyer, because otherwise their Warcry will come back to haunt us. We're getting somewhere. Board is stalled. Now all we need is a removal or trick to start attacking. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could suicide this guy to make this guy an 8-3 quick draw, but I don't think that is what we want to do. I can get more value out of the 5/5 body first before it dies. Like double blocking the 6/6 with our 4/2. That's good. Now it's getting annoying. I think we have to take for one turn, because otherwise we lose the trigger on this guy. That was a pretty strong turn of his. I mean, if we draw execute right now or combust, he's way behind. Speaking of combust. And if you kill a guy with a weapon, combust suddenly becomes a 1/1, especially if the card already generated some value. So yeah, I think this weapon makes this guy a bit safer of a blocker, then we can even afford to attack. It's a bit ambitious, but I think we have to start attacking at some point, and it's unlikely that he can kill a 5/5 at this point as a Rakana player. Like, if we would have drawn a combat trick here, that would have been insane. And I think can attack with bows because he has to triple block the destroyer. That gives us 5 life. And he can only swing back for 2. And we really wanna turn this race in our favor. He seems to be out of gas. Bit of a waste, but there you go. I think it's better than not playing a blocker there. It's not that likely that he's gonna play a 1/1 at this point. And also, yeah, we need a target in case the big guy dies, which just happened. Now we are in a standoff again, but we have a bunch of things that can help us get out of that. Bit of a waste, but we can pressure, so get him out there. A bit late. That would have been a really sweet draw earlier. Yep. So, come on, let us win this. And then give us 10 points for Masters League. Oh, come on! That's like the single best card he could have drawn in this spot, basically. And we are flooding out. Come on, Shadowlands Guide. Or Combo Trick. Ooh, that's nasty. Get wrecked. That was a really great draw there. And now he's dead. Yes! We got him. Come on, 10 points, please. 9 points, of course. 1 point shy. Well, that concludes my first draft video. This went really well. Deck didn't even look that great, but still easily performed. And provided me with a 7-1. Yeah, I think the key, for me at least, in draft so far has been trying to draft aggro decks, and especially Stonescar, Cambrai, and Rakano, since these three combinations are what has been doing the best for me. And they also seem to be the strongest aggressive combinations. Stuff like Feln or I don't know, Elysian and stuff just seem too weak. Sure, like Feln still is a Shadow combination, and Shadow is one of the 3 top colors, but I think if the best color in your deck, best faction in your deck is Shadow, and the other is Primal, which is the worst, you're basically playing like the 3rd best and the worst faction, which all in all amounts to a pretty weak combination, and that's how my experience with Feln mostly was. I rather am Fire or Justice centric, and then complement them with Time or Shadow, because they both make for better complementary colors than main colors. While Shadow kind of is the better faction than Time in what it can offer and how many cards it can offer, but the multi-faction cards from Cambrai are just so good that Cambrai makes for really good mid-rangey to aggressive combination, and stuff like Justice, Shadow probably would be okay, but you just give up so much by not getting multi-faction cards that if I am Shadow, I rather try to be Shadow Fire, which synergizes a lot better and has more power thanks to multi-faction cards. Alright, I hope you enjoyed my first draft and my in-depth explanation of the picks and everything. If you have any feedback, let me know in the comments in terms of what you would like to see for this kind of series. If there's anything you would like me to do differently or add to what I am already doing. Something I should explain or address that I didn't. Stuff like that. And yeah, if you found this entertaining, interesting and or helpful, as usual, please like and subscribe and follow me on social media for future content. Thanks for watching, see you next time, bye!